Hello guys, and welcome to a new WARNO video today by me, Vulcan. In this one I have for you a 2 versus 2 on Thaler Duel, and I'm going to be using the 1st Luftlande. This is a division that I was really excited to get my hands on. It's one of the new Southag DLC divisions, one of 8 that is now available for people who have the Gold Edition or the expansion pass. So if you have either of those, you can play these divisions right now, which is really cool. So it was nice of Eugen to kind of release them early because they knew that the Army General was a bit delayed. So yeah, good to get our hands on them. And I was really excited to play with this division because it has some exceptionally strong infantry, and it's probably one of the first divisions where I really thought I'd be able to get some value out of the machine gun teams, because they are 2 veterancy in my deck and you get 8 of them and they're forward deployable. So at the start of the game I thought they'd be fantastic for sort of chopping down sort of light infantry, recon and other squads that we might come across. So that's what I'm going to be attempting to do here today. Let's have a quick look at the rest of the stuff I've got going down. So apart from the machine gun teams, I've got 2 on this road, 2 on this road. We've got some Fallschirmjäger, Fallschirm Pioneers. There's another couple of MGs there. And we've also got the Fallschirmjäger B1, which are probably one of the best recon infantry squads in the game. They're incredibly strong. They get some good close-range MP5 SMGs. They get the Panzerfaust 3 with the 21 AP, and they also have satchel charges. They are also Special Forces and Shock. So both of those things are fantastic for those close-range engagements. So they really do just rip through enemy infantry at close range. Now you might also notice the new UAVs flying about, and it was really funny in this game because ND sent the TU-143 our way, and we sent the CL-89s their way, as well as my own CL-289, which is also going to be flying over here as well, as you can see. And these are basically just rockets with cameras on, and a lot of the divisions have them now. So I'm just going to be having mine try and work its way across the back of the enemy lines to see if we can spot an enemy fob, and what do you know, there's one right there. Now behind all of this infantry I was mentioning, I do have the Leopard 1A5s. We've got the Aufklärer Leopard 1A5s and the Kraken Milans. The Kraken Milan is a Milan 2. I've also got the Zwilling here as well, which is a twin 20mm that I'm trying to unload to kill the Mi2 that we bumped into. I've also dropped off some Luftgebirgsjäger in the CH-53, but I was basically hoping that I could shoot down the Mi2 to get us started, and meanwhile the MG3s have got into position here and they're starting to do a decent amount of damage to this infantry over time. Because they have that 2 veterancy, they have 40% accuracy, which is really, really nice, and it's starting to chip down those infantry pretty quickly, in fact. We've got a ping on the enemy fob, so we'll be killing that eventually, but you can see here the Fallschirmjäger B1's going to work as they take out a BMP2, and then also are now engaging the other Special Forces squad. So this is the RT SHPZ, which is the new Czechoslovakian elite infantry. And you can see how quickly the Fallschirmjäger for an extra 20 points are just dismantling them. So that just shows how strong the Fallschirmjäger B1 really are. So I've got the Krakenführer riding around. This is a really fun command vehicle. The guy running around on one of these at like 90 kilometers per hour or something silly. Leopard 1A5 had a bad time though, but going to be saved by the Kraken Milan. Again, that is the same vehicle but with a Milan 2 on it. So that's being used to engage at a distance. Great thing about the Kraken Milan is it does have the good stealth, so it is able to hide in cover pretty well against armoured targets that don't have as good optics. But across the board, for us, I'm trying to get the Krakenführer in here so that we can contest early on, maybe push a little bit of an extra lead, because our opponents didn't capture Echo right off the bat, so we were sitting on a +1 for a little while. And I wanted to try and get the Krakenführer into the heavy cover here so that I could hide it from the enemy. But T-72 comes through, ends up taking out the Krakenführer, and leaves us in a bit of a hole. Meanwhile, on the right-hand side, Taki here being pushed in hard by Eagle's OT-64s. I've got the 155 artillery going though, and they're going to be engaging the enemy fob and just blowing that up. You can see the big explosion there as the Feld depot goes up in smoke. Zwilling on the left, looking to try and kill off another Mi2. Got a little bit of infantry moving around on the left-hand side. So we've got the Fallschirmjäger here, which have the Panzerfaust 3, very good shock squad, and then we've got the Fallschirmjäger, which is the special forces, and we've also got the Fallschirmpioneer, which is the Fallschirmjägers with the satchels. So we've got a nice combination of infantry there. The only thing that they're vulnerable to at the moment is the helicopters, so that's why it was really important that the Zwilling shot that down. Meanwhile, the Eric's trying to get a shot onto the T-72, but MiG-23BN coming in with the rockets to hit the light vehicles out in the open. Fortunately, Taki was having a bit of a bad time on the right-hand side, just focusing most of his stuff into the mid early on. Here we got the first of the Hornets coming out. Taki on my team is playing with the Canadians, so we are going to be seeing plenty of Hornets flying around the place. This one in particular is the air-to-air variant. So in order to contest this, I'm now bringing up the Leopard 1A, 1A1, since the Kragerführer could probably just get artied on the backside of the sector really easily. But the Fallschirmjäger and the Fallschirmpioneer continue to make ground on the left-hand side, and I'm going to be backing them up with a couple of the Luftgebirgsjäger. So these are the massive 16-man squads. They have 2 machine guns and a sniper. They have the G3 battle rifle plus the Carl Gustav, and just all round a really, really solid squad. And what you might notice is just how quickly they continue to run through trees. Now, it's funny for me because I didn't really notice it at first, and then I was sort of like, oh yeah, how are they getting through those trees so quickly? Especially when you compare it to, like, say this Fallschirmjäger running across, you can see they're quite slow. But these are running at like double the speed almost. Regardless, Fallschirmjäger B1 going to be taking the SVO to the face. That is the BMP with the thermobaric rockets in it. So just absolutely demolish this backside, leaving all of this smoke. It looks really cool actually, look at that. Very nice. And then my Luftgebirgsjäger survived because they're very, very chunky. But now Andy's going to be making a little bit of a push with his BMPs. Meanwhile, I am able to catch out the Mi-2 here at close range with the Fallschirmpioneer, so it wasn't so much of an issue. But if a couple of these start attacking me at a distance, I'm going to be having a bad time. But I really want to kill the Osa because that would be a nice kill. Decent amount of points that they are worth, plus limited availability potentially if he upbets them. Leopard 1A1 in the middle though, going to have to fall that back as the infantry comes forwards, hoping that my Luftgebirgsjäger can hold the line. But the 23mm autocannon getting on target, so poor Fallschirmjäger B1 getting absolutely ripped here. Especially coming under fire from the Ginista with the LPO as well, so lots of flames on top of those. Fallschirmpioneer, not really much of a chance for them because they're going to have to run across the open in order to retreat. So I was just hoping to maybe get a little bit of damage onto the infantry before we fell back, but either way, onwards we go, and you can see I've brought up a couple of Gepards here, but we've got the F4F on the way, and that's going to be going for the bombing strike onto the Ginista, takes them out, also kills off the one of the Mi-2s for us, so that was really, really good. Just about manages to get away from the Osa. Meanwhile, on the backside there, the CL-289 going to be going for a run over the back line to see if there's any enemy artillery and such to worry about. And the crazy thing with these, because they have such a wide turning circle, you can see how far off the map they go. It makes them really, really hard to spot. So if you like purposefully guide it off the edge of the map, you can make them do a massive semicircle off the edge of the map and then come back on like right in the enemy's back line before they even notice. Now you also notice here at the moment I am helping out Taki on the right hand side to try and take back this point. So Fallschirmjägers on the way. We've got the MG3s that are providing the machine gun fire. The SD-100, one of them got killed by that bombing strike, the other one's falling back. Those are the really old World War II vehicles that the Czechoslovakians have. So cool to see that in action. I've also got the artillery coming in, so 155mm artillery going to work to try and take out some of those Alasnitsi. Got the 1A, 1A2. Which is sitting further back. Great thing about these is they have 65% accuracy, so if I can keep them at a distance, they can do a lot of damage and really take advantage of that extra accuracy over the opponents. The poor Fallschirmjäger here are eventually going to get killed off just by the sheer number of infantry that we're up against, plus the spam of T-34-85s heading our way. Meanwhile in the centre, due to my sort of attention on the right, we did lose quite a lot of ground here. a Leopard 1A5, trying to keep that alive as it retreats away from the Modostrelzi. Got the Falchion Pioneer on the way, and some Fallschirmjäger. So double Falchion Pioneer to help deal with enemy infantry, Fallschirmjäger because they have the Panzerfaust 3 for the AT. Luftgebirgsjäger in the meantime going to be engaging the Ginista on the left hand side. So this is the Scorpion squad with the flamethrower. At that range, the Luftgebirgsjäger just completely untouched, like ridiculous firepower against enemy infantry. C1s though, making short work of T-34-85s when they get in line of sight. The only thing with the Leopards is they have relatively low armor themselves. So the T-34 actually has a decent potential to do some damage, but here comes some of the new Hornets with their bombing strikes. So cluster there over the town, little cheeky bombing strike on the right hand side. MGs are starting to engage the Zalosnitsi here. These are really good squads, especially if you give them a leader and the military police. These are the ones with the recoilless rifles. You've really got to get rid of that reservist trait, otherwise they really lack the cohesion. So Gepard's here moving up. They're going to be trying to just support the infantry as we continue to make ground, because Eagles sent a bunch more T-34s over here, and I'm actually very limited on the amount of ammo I have. So we've only got 4 Panzerfaust 3s and 6 of the Carl Gustavs, and as soon as I run out of ammo, the T-34s can just run down these infantry, so I'm in a really bad spot. And I was just about to move in with the Gebirgsführer to try and capture that sector, because we're currently losing to a +3. But I had to end up like diverting them off to the side of the map, because these two units were just completely overwhelmed by the number of T-34s that started coming towards us. We didn't have enough to kill them all. Anyway, Gebirgsjäger now joining us on the right hand side. These are the standard infantry that have the Mountaineer trait. Actually kind of like having a mix of Fallschirmjägers and Gebirgsjägers, because they're useful in different situations. Like when you are trying to do like a nice flanking maneuver in the heavy forest, the Gebirgsjägers are fantastic. But when you're going across the open there, it would probably be better if these were Fallschirmjägers. So I kind of used them wrong in this case. Like it would have been better if the Fallschirmjägers were on the right hand side and the Gebirgsjägers on the left hand side. And in some cases I have done that with like the Luftgebirgsjäger, but thinking about that more sort of presently throughout the game would really be a helpful way to maximize the efficiency of those squads. BO 105 joining us, which is just the Hot 2 HGM helicopter to pop some units at a distance. I've also got the Leopard 1A 1A2s hanging about. We've got the Kakamalan in the middle, and what you'll notice that I'm doing on this left hand side is I'm kind of trying to cover all of the avenues of attack with different HGMs and long range tanks. So able to like snipe at a distance with the 1A 1A2s, and again the 90%, not 90% accuracy, but 65% accuracy is very helpful. And then I've also got the 1A5, which honestly is such a fantastic tank. For 135 points, you get a Leopard 1A5 with 2,275 points. Really nice. Unfortunately for me, the Gepard here was just out of range really to stop the Mi2s from getting on top of the Gebirgsjäger, but just saved it in time. So Gebirgsjäger will survive for the time being. Leopard 1A 1A2s still getting the first shot into the T-72s, so that's absolutely fine. These two T-72s are a little bit of a problem for me, but I am able to contest at the moment with the 1A 1A1. So that's okay. Any infantry across the open, MG3 able to open up, and yeah, I was actually quite impressed about how much damage these were doing. Because like relatively, like that's not a lot of damage. If this was like an MG42 equivalent in Steel Division 2, then those infantry would be just absolutely destroyed before they even got into the tree line. But WARNO works a little bit differently, so that's actually a reasonable amount of damage and cohesion loss. On the on the right hand side, we really needed to stop the bleeding of the tickets, so I just ended up dropping a Gebirgsjäger like straight into the back of this sector. I'm going to be dropping one of their smokes on top of them to keep them safe for the time being. Cluster coming in from Taki is going to help clean out some of the armor there, and we're still contesting the mid, so it's only now +1 for our opponents. We've just got to see if we can like secure the right back into our favor, or maybe I can put some continuous pressure on the left in order to make some ground here instead. Now Gepard makes sure work of the Modostrelzi. Kakamalan going to be taking the SVO to the face. I was just going to try and show that off. It was actually targeting the building there. You can see all of the explosions. We're also able to shoot down that aircraft, so that was nice. I've got the double Gepard still. We've got the Flak-Zwillings in there. So, and then obviously the CF 116 back here as well. But having killed the enemy leader on the right hand side, we do actually full cap this, so we're able to stop the tick for the time being. My 155mm was really handy for just like poking different units when I needed to. And in this case, we're going to be engaging the Zaloznicy that are still in the town. If we can get rid of those, it'd be absolutely fantastic. And at the moment, we're really able to exploit the lack of AA on the opposing side. OSA there even getting taken out as well by my Leopard 1A, 1A2 as it revealed itself firing at that aircraft. Now, unfortunately for me, the Geburgsjäger here, they end up bumping into a full squad of Jinistas, so yep, they end up dying. My Gepard here hanging out on the flank still. It's absolutely fine. My Geburgsjäger, anytime the smoke's just about to go down, we just throw another one and keep them smoked up there. Now, enemy artillery on top of that would be ideal, but we've cleared out the town now, so it's not so bad. We can probably start to move them into a better position if I wanted to, but Hornet coming in again with more of those bombs. Kaka Milan still firing away with the Milan 2 here. This was doing a fantastic amount of work. But there's the SVO. You'll see it fires those rockets out the back. In this case, didn't really hit anything because the Leopard 1A, 1A1 is pretty resilient to them. But I am now bringing in the Alpha jets with the Maverick missiles. And I've also got the HFB, which is the new ECM aircraft. So bringing those in tandem is going to allow me to get some really nice Maverick shots onto the T-72s with aircraft that would otherwise be very vulnerable to anti-air. So like an OSA will one-shot an Alpha jet very easily. But if I have the jet flying with it, the HFB, then it allows us to force more of those missiles to miss, because what an ECM aircraft does like that is it will reduce enemy radar AA accuracy by 20%. It also reveals them, so the Maverick could, in theory, target them at the same time. And this is a really rough engagement for ND because his Motorstreltsy are very inferior compared to the Fallschirmjäger. So we've got two Fallschirmjäger and Fallschirm Pioneer just ripping through those squads. You see the Satchel there finishing off the last one. I did almost lose the 1A, 1A1 because I got a bit overzealous with that, but nice little strafe by the Hornet. Does take the T-72M down a bit of health there, but ends up getting taken out by what I imagine was a Krug or something similar. Could have just been the OSA finishing it off. Alright, Leopard 1A, 1A2 on the right hand side pushing up. Again, look at that accuracy. Absolutely gorgeous. And my Geburgsjäger, they're moving already. So the artillery does come in onto their position, but they're already out of the way. So that worked out quite nicely. Now the bombs coming in to try and finish off the enemy leader there. Nice cheeky bit of cluster at the same time. It's really starting to overwhelm them with aircraft because I've now got my bombers coming in as well, which is nice. Leopard 1A, 1A1, a little bit of a mistake on my part. Two T-72s here ready to have a go, and bam bam straight into the side armor. That 19 pen really easily getting the job done. F4F's going in for the bombs further back, hoping to take out the SVO so that my infantry is a bit more safe. Should have definitely had the HFB come out with those earlier on. You can see here we're revealing the OSA with the ECM aircraft. My Alpha jet actually manages to double kill the T-72s on the ground whilst that's in. So really nice strike there by myself and Taki at the same time. And Taki here also got his electric voodoo out, which is really cool, the Canadian electric voodoo. And you can see it there, it's revealing the OSA on the backside. It's going to be very difficult for the OSA to hit this because it has 50% ECM, and it's also reducing the accuracy of the enemy OSA by 20%. So you can see there it was only like 30% accuracy to begin with, and the other Hornet's just going to come in there and finish it off. So that's kind of the combination that you're going to be going for with the Canadians. Use the Voodoo to reveal enemy radar AAs, hit them with the Hornets, which also have high ECM. So yeah, really, really potent air combination. And since I was also using ECM aircraft at the same time, it allowed Taki even more cover from those ground AA. And I've already killed a couple of the OSAs on my side at least, due to me being able to advance on them with the tanks and so on. So I now have some of the elite Gebirgsjäger. These are the special forces Gebirgsjäger, the Hochgebirgsjäger. They've got the special forces shock trait. They also have the mountaineer trait. So you can see here, even though these guys are like retreating, these are just like twice as fast almost in the forest, which is really nice. This Fallschirmjäger trying to finish off the T-72. Got the second one coming in on the right hand side to help things out there. If I can get on top of the T-72s with the Panzerfaust 3, it's going to really do a lot of damage, so that's what we're hoping for. Leopard 1A5, unfortunately taking a bit of a hit on that left-hand side, but on the right, things are basically fully under our control now. I've got some extra reinforcements on the way, just in case. A couple of Gebirgs Pioneers, the Hochgebirgsjäger. We've got the 1A, 1A2 and the Jaguar 2 in position to take care of enemy armor already anyway, so that was working out nicely, and currently these boys just towed up on the backside, ready to be used. I'm just pinging the corner here because that's where we know the enemy leader is. If we can take that out, then we get control over the center of the map, and we'll start taking the points in our favor again. So that was the plan, as well as, of course, continuing to push forwards on the right-hand side. But of course, at the same time, I'm also engaging on the left-hand side. So Fallschirmjäger against the Mostralzi. Got the Leopard 1A, 1A2 coming up to help out as well. But here comes the F4F with the laser-guided bomb. Unfortunately, it wasn't able to get the laser-guided bomb on target as the cohesion loss forced that to fall back. But we are able to take out a couple of targets with the Alpha Jets, so that was nice. We took out the enemy BMP-2s. I did try and get a shot onto the T-72 there, but didn't manage to finish them off. Another F4F with the HE hanging about. And we can see here that they haven't really turned on any of their radar AA. So, not really any target for the bombing strike just yet. But here comes another of the SVO strikes. Because these are thermobaric, they really do not do much damage against armor at all, as you can see. Was looking to go for the bombing strike there apparently, but didn't go off. Leopard 1A, 1A2 in the meantime going down on the right hand side. Jaguar 2 is going to be getting involved, and the bombs come in on the backside, so I ended up targeting the infantry that we saw running across there, and that seemed to work out quite nicely as we do push them out that sector. Completely electric voodoo. Going pretty deep. Is actually going to spot the Krugs back here as they get turned on. With good luck for a Krug, it's got 24% accuracy with the electric voodoo overhead. And then the electric voodoo has 50% ECM, so you're looking at like 11% chance to hit. It's not ideal. I mean, it's even worse with my one because this one has 60% ECM, so it's even harder for the Krug to hit. Now, of course, if the Krug does hit, then it will one-shot it. And obviously, like the Krug's flying past the aircraft does make the aircraft flinch, may just like force it to fall back anyway. But here you can see I am trying to bring in the Alpha Jet with the HFB to try and make that work. So my Air Force really became a powerhouse here. As soon as the enemy AA is like out of the circle, the Alpha Jet's going to go down. Also in this case, I think it was a couple of man-pads that killed the Alpha Jet, which don't get affected by the ECM aircraft, so there wasn't much I could do about that one. Another BVP going to be coming into the backside of Delta to contest, so they're managing to maintain their lead at the moment, but I'm able to get some really good shots here into the T-72s. The T-72 is not working very well for ND in this one, as my 1A1s and the 1A5s were able to get their ambushing shots in, which is great. So now Alpha Jet's coming in. looking to try and kill the Osas here. Unfortunately for me, kind of unlucky, because we're looking at, what is that, 48% accuracy with the debuff from the plane, and then I guess actually like the Alpha Jets there, they only have like 10% ECM, so it would have been like 40% accurate. So there's a decent chance those Osas will hit, but kind of unlucky that both of them died like that. Anyway, more Gebirgsjäger landing in with their CH-53s, ready to go and push round using the tree line to get into that sector. And then if I can secure the sector, I can then push in the leader behind them. But the 185 here pushing forwards, able to get both of its machine guns on target, so slowly but surely we'll kill off that recon infantry. Just got to hope that it doesn't get a lucky hit, because the low cohesion on those will cause them to be less accurate. So a nice little rocket run there from the Hornet, and also the HE follow-up. You can see my Gebirgs Pioneer and the Hawks Gebirgsjäger still making a play on that right-hand side. And the infantry just in general here has been so good so far. I mean, you can see we're basically winning every infantry engagement. Now we are, of course, fighting against the Czechoslovakians, and they don't really have like the best infantry in the game by any means, but they do certainly have plenty of ways to kill infantry. Especially like the T-72s and such, but I have been able to shut down a lot of the T-72s by getting either into range with AT or with my tanks. But we're getting very close to just completely controlling Gulf, which is great. We are kind of starting to get a foothold on the right-hand side here, and both of the back sectors are worth more points, I believe. Or is that just the middle one? No, the Golf and Bravo are only 1 pointers. Echoes the 2-pointer. Luftgebirgsjäger at range against the Motorstraße. You can see they are suffering. Gepard actually going to be winning against the Yashturka. So that's like a twin 30, but because the Gepard's got a decent amount of armor, it's just able to rip that to pieces without taking much damage itself. Trying to get my Leopards onto the same target there, but Jaguar 2 managed to slip a TOW-2 missile on target, so that was really good. And we've also got now the laser guided bomb coming in, so Phantom with laser guided bomb going to be able to help kill one of the T-72s. Second one's already been damaged by the Leopards, and when there's this many Leopards with that high accuracy, those T-72s just don't stand a chance out in the open like that. So pretty nice indeed. Bombing strike coming in on the back side of the sector there as well. The Gebirgs Pioneer still kind of surviving for the time being. Lots of strikes coming in again from the Hornets, and you see we're just dominating the air at this point. We really are. I could have been using my artillery a bit more actively here, I think, to help on the right-hand side. But I am, of course, also focusing over on the left at the same time against the T-72s, the T-34s. All that good stuff. So Jaguar there looking to kill the T-34, manages to find it. Leopard 1A5 looking for the T-72 hit, does manage to land it. Leopard 1A, 1A2 manages to follow up as well, and we're going to be bringing in the CH-53G to repair those. Now you might notice at the start of this game I didn't buy my own fob because I don't think this division actually gets one. For starters, but even if I could buy one, I wouldn't have brought one because of the new drones. And the new UAVs are really good at finding fobs, as you saw me do at the start of the game, and that definitely sort of diminished their amount of supply, so they can't use their MLRS as much throughout the game. Or if they do, then it kind of runs out sooner. But we're in a really good position now. We've completely taken control on the left-hand side here at Gulf. We're actually past Delta in the centre, so this T-72 moving up, for example, is in a bit of a rough spot. Eagle's trying to push forwards with some T-72s here, but double Jaguar hit there. Going to get the job done. Really nice indeed. Yeah, the Luftgebirgsjäger, you can see, managed to get a side shot into the T-72S, so that was good for me. SD-100 goes down. And now the Kakafuhrer I moved that into the corner of the sector. There's also a reserve leader here from the Canadians. So we're going to double up on the right hand side. We full cap the left, so we're actually on a +4, which is fantastic. Tu-143 comes over the backside, and I was a bit curious if it had spotted my artillery. I presumed it had, so we're going to make sure to move those. We've got the same rules now applying in WARNO as we have in Broken Arrow, where if your units are spotted by an enemy UAV, make sure to move them, because the likelihood is enemy artillery is going to be on its way shortly. Anyway, F4F coming in with its GBU-12. See, it doesn't actually do much damage to the T-72 ME2. Those only have 15 front armor, so I was surprised it did do that much damage. But in combination with the HGMs plus the tanks and such, the laser guided bomb can be what you need to finish off those vehicles. I do also have the BO-105 hanging about again as well, so that we can throw HGMs down the road if needs be. But I'm going to be forced to kind of manually pull this back so that I can then hit to the T-72 there. But meanwhile, you can see the Tu-143 here just hanging out on the backside. Not really much I had to deal with that, honestly. So I don't really have any air superiority fighters in this deck. It's all sort of short range AA. So I could go hunt it if I wanted to, but it's not really a good use of my time when I can continue to kill things on the front. The laser guided bomb hits the mark once again, and hoping to finish that off with either the Fallschirmjäger here, or maybe just let the Milan 2 do the job. So my F4F does survive. The MiG-23 actually gets taken down by my AA, so that was actually pretty good. On the right hand side, they do manage to push us out here briefly. The reserve leaders backed it up. My Cracker went down, so not ideal. But I've just moved up a few like HGMs here, and what these are doing is basically stopping Eagle from using any armoured fire support at a distance. At least that was the plan, so that then Taki can move back in with his infantry and contest that. And what I'm doing is I'm just trying to get some of my points spent, because I was floating a lot at this point, which basically told me that we're like way far ahead, because I'm not seeing many units coming in against us, so it's likely we've kind of grinded them down a lot so that they can't kind of get back into the game. A lot of the T-72s were coming in unsupported and so on. That's likely just due to a lot of their infantry going down. So I'm just pushing straight up here to Echo. We're going to go and capture that. Meanwhile, the Hornets bombing on the right hand side. We've got the F4F coming in. I thought it'd be a really nice idea to try and bomb some of this rocket artillery on the back side, and we get a nice bombing strike onto at least one of those. But just ECM aircraft hanging about. I'm pretty sure at this point they've just run out of AA completely, as I think we managed to kill the Krugs maybe at this point. And if not, you know, we're going to hit them at some point whenever they turn their radar on. The electric voodoos or spot them on my HFB well, and then we can kill them off. Unfortunately, my aircraft does go down there, one of them to the MiG, and we weren't able to get the MiG before it left. We are able to kill the half-track there. Yeah, it's always crazy when you see the half-tracks in these more modern games. And MiG-21 MFs from Eagle coming in to try and counteract the Hornets, and does manage to get a good hit onto one of the Hornets there. Volksjäger on the way to help support Taki. Taki's been pushing in here with his Pioneers. So we've got some tank hunters, got the mech rifles, nice little mix there. Tank hunter's going to be useful for taking out enemy vehicles, and then he's got the Pioneers for the close range. I've got the Volksjägers coming up as well, so they'll be able to help out a lot. But the bombing strike's really getting the job done. Double T-72 here, caught out in a bit of a bad situation. The Milan 2 shooting them in from the side. The Fallschirmjäger B1 shooting them in the front with the Panzerfaust 3. This Fallschirmjäger B1 bloodied, but managed to get all of its Panzer 3s on target. Panzerfaust 3, sorry. This one's fired all 4 now. T-72 is a bit of a beast. It does have 18 front armor, so you're not really doing much damage. So it's really going to be up to these Milan 2s to get the shot on target. And you can see I've got one here now. We've got one over on the left-hand side. I also brought up the Gebirgsscharfschütze so that we had more recon to see what is coming out of the enemy spawn at this point, because we are now sitting on a +9 and things are pretty much over. So yeah, first Luftlande, honestly, out of the gate against the Czechoslovakians, I think it's a bit of a sort of skewed engagement. You know, it's not going to be like the best test for the Luftlande, because the Luftlande infantry is insane, and then like the Czechoslovakian infantry is like kind of very mediocre. I would say like sometimes the reserve, like the 303rd, with the you know, correct support, i.e. a leader and military place with their infantry, can be really strong, especially with like the sort of recoilless spam. But we didn't really see that too much in this game. And so we were able to overwhelm the Czechoslovakian infantry much easier because of that. But I think just like the combination of support that you get for all of this really good infantry is fantastic. I mean, you can just look at like my front line in general. We've got like Gepards, we've got the Luftlande, we've got the 181, we've got a recon tank plus a normal tank. I've got HGM vehicles out the wazoo, we've got a helicopter. Like, there's basically everything you need. The only thing that you're really missing with this division is long-range radar AA and like ground-based radar AA. But after 34 minutes and 43 seconds, the trading with all of the infantry paid off massively. 8,860 kills to 3,280 losses. And you can just see the standout units here. So the Afghan Leopard 185, I was talking about in the division preview how good this thing could be, and this is just proof of that. 2,275 meter range with good optics has always been a combination in Eugen games that is just glorious. Like max range tank with a little bit of optics so they can spot for themselves, and able to like trade back into HGM vehicles as well is the other big one, is huge. Because it's having good optics is like the difference between being able to see the HGM vehicle fire you on the first time or the second time. And if it's the second time, then you're going to take a hit, you're going to have lower cohesion, you're not going to be able to fight back as easily. Whereas if it fires and you're immediately able to see it and then able to fire back, it's huge. So against units like the BMPs, any sort of like the Recon BMP here and stuff like that, it's just really, really good. Fallschirmjäger B1, defeating 2 squads of the elite Czechoslovakian infantry. Yeah, Fallschirmjägers are doing well with the Panzerfaust 3. The Panzerfaust 3 is just such a good AT weapon. It really is, because it fires quickly. It has good AT, good sort of AP, sorry, penetration. The F4F bombing strikes were going through like crazy because of the ECM provided by the HFB, so that was really cool. The artillery was again good support. I maybe could have used it a bit more that game, but it came to a point where I just kind of forgot about it. As I didn't need it as much anymore. BO-105 providing good support. Gepards killing the aircraft, just everything they really needed to. Again, Fallschirmjäger's doing well. Leopard 185 again doing well. Jaguar providing the long range support. We've got even the Milan 2s in there providing long range support. So yeah, overall, like I think this division is just so good. It really is. And yeah, I'll definitely taking a look at more of the South Ag divisions as we go. But this was a great showcase of the first Luftlande, so I had to get this one out there. But that is all from me for now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.